بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Dear viewers, Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome to our program, Cleanliness in Islam. Being clean in Islam is a value. It deals with acts of worship. It deals with standards of our physical bodies. It is a standard in our spiritual. It is a standard in the way we get along. It's a standard in how we do our intentions. That cleanliness is half, at least half of many things that we do. The Prophet ﷺ said, "Innama al-a'malu binniyat," that the deed is by the intention. The intention has to be pure for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Purity is part of a condition to have our deeds accepted by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The first part, sincerity, is when we do acts that are for Allah, sincerely for Him, that they be pure from any showing off, and that they be pure from any sort of wanting to gain worldly benefits. And even in our relationships, the relationships of brotherhood, that we have our brothers and close companions, that we love them fi sabilillah, meaning we love them purely for the sake of Allah Azza wa Jal. So the idea of purity is strong in Islam, whether it be the purity in the hearts or purity in the people's clothing, meaning having clean clothing, our bodies being clean, and our living environments being clean. And we have been talking about when the Messenger of Allah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam talked about maintaining a clean body and having clean clothing. Because in today's world, in places, you see the youth looking as though they are lost from time to time. And the attire today, clothing today leans toward having holes in it sometimes, having manufactured looking mud on pants. And this is not a standard in Islam. Islam is beautiful. It leans toward away from filth, and it leads toward, it demands cleanliness. If you consider the hadith of Jibreel, alayhi salatu wasalam, and when he came to teach the people the religion, and at the end of the hadith, the Prophet ﷺ said, translating, he said, that was Jibreel. He came to teach you your religion. Jibreel's appearance, alayhi salam, his hair was exceedingly black. His clothes were exceedingly white. He didn't have a speck of dirt on him. He came, alayhi salatu wasalam, as a teacher and as a student. So he was modeling how you come to learn. He was modeling for the people in his appearance how you should be with a teacher. He came clean. His clothes were clean. His hair was combed. The way he asked questions, all these had a sense of purity in them. So purity, cleanliness is the standard of Islam. Purity, cleanliness is an Islamic standard. The Muslims were instructed by the Messenger of Allah to maintain a clean body and to wear clean clothes. To wear clean clothes. Therefore, the Muslim who wants to be a beautiful being among the people of the world should regularly wash himself and his clothing so he will be outwardly clean, his heart and soul will be clean inwardly. The Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam gave the following command. He said, اغتسلوا يوم الجمعة واغسلوا رؤوسكم وإن لم تكونوا جنبا وأصيبوا من الطيب. He said, take a bath on Friday and wash your heads, meaning take a thorough bath. Even though you are not junub and you're not in a state of impurity from having intimate relations, but take a bath that way on Jummah and add perfume. There are people of knowledge who see bathing on Friday as obligatory, wajib. There are narrations that indicate the truth of this position. The Messenger of Allah ﷺ said, حَقٌّ عَلَى كُلِّ مُسْلِمٍ أن يغتسل في كل سبعة أيام يوما يغسل فيه رأسه وجسده. متفق عليه. It is obligatory for every Muslim that he should take a bath once in 7 days, when he should wash his body and his head. This narration does not mean that a Muslim only washes every 7 days. On the contrary, this hadith is talking about the longest period of time a person can delay bathing. The same can be said about cutting the fingernails and cutting the toenails, removal of the hair from the armpits and from the pubic area of the body. A person doesn't have to wait 40 days to clean himself this way. Rather, 40 days represents the longest limit a person can delay cleaning himself in that way. Furthermore, the sunnah is to cleanse oneself in this way once every 7 days. Hence the statement of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ when he said, يَغْسِلُ فِيهِ, he should bathe, meaning that day, رَأْسَهُ وَجَسَدَهُ, his head and his body. Also, a Muslim who is true to his faith keeps his clothing, including his socks, clean. This means that a person, to maintain good cleanliness, would have to inspect his clothing and his footwear from time to time to safeguard against unpleasant odor coming from him. A Muslim who is aware of himself must also take care of the condition of his mouth and his breath. From this type of Muslim, no one ever smells unpleasant and offensive odors coming from his mouth. To prevent the occurrence of bad breath, a Muslim should regularly use miswak and other healthy means to freshen his breath. So the whole body of the Muslim should remain clean. He should stay clean. If you work in a place where you become dirty, then a person should remove those clothes and wash them and keep clean clothes on. For brothers and for sisters, should remain clean, not soiled. Don't model being soiled or being dirty in public. Don't model having long, dirty fingernails, whether you're at home or whether you're among people. Because if you have children, your children see you with long fingernails that you don't keep clean and don't keep cut the way the Messenger of Allah instructed that they be cut. Part of the Sunnah al-Fitra, that would be a problem. You would be opposing the Sunnah. And it's called Sunnah al-Fitra because those points of being clean, they deal with the human being. The animals don't clip their toenails. They don't clip their fingernails. They don't circumcise themselves. They don't clip under their arms. They don't shave their pubic areas. This is for people. This is for people, human beings, to be clean as a human being. The mother of the faithful, Aisha radiallahu anha, may Allah be pleased with her, reported, An Aisha and Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam kana la yarqudu fi al-layli wa al-nahar fayastayqab illa tasawwaka qabla an yatawadda. Narrated Aisha al-Mu'mineen, the mother of the faithful, that the Messenger of Allah did not get up after sleeping by night or by day without using the toothpick before performing ablution. So the Messenger of Allah used to use his miswak. If he went to sleep, if he woke, he used it. Sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Whether he was sleeping in the daytime, the qaylula, or at night, he always used miswak. The Messenger of Allah's concern for the cleanliness of the mouth was intense to the point that he said, لولا أن أشق على أمتي أو على الناس لأمرتهم بالسواك مع كل صلاة. He said in the narration of Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu, Allah's Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, if I had not found it hard on my followers or hard on the people, I would have ordered them to clean their teeth with siwak for every prayer. Aisha radiallahu anha, may Allah be pleased with her, was asked about the first thing the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam did when he rose in the morning. She replied, عن مقدام ابن شريح عن أبيه قال سألت عائشة قلت بأي شيء كان يبدأ النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم إذا دخل بيته قالت بالسواك. مقدام ابن شريح narrated it from his father, who said, radiallahu anhu, I asked Aisha when Allah's Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam did first, what he did first when he entered his house, and she replied he used to use the toothpick first of all. He used to use siwak the first thing when he came into the house. The Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam also instructed the Muslims not to come to the masjid with the smell of onion on their breath. عن جابر رضي الله عنه قال قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم من أكل ثوما أو بصلا فيعتزلنا أو فليعتزل مسجدنا. متفق عليه. وفي الرواية لمسلم من أكل البصل والثوم الكراث فلا يقربن مسجدنا فإن الملائكة يتأذى مما يتأذى منه بنو آدم. Jabir, may Allah be pleased with him, said, the Prophet ﷺ said, he who has eaten garlic or onion should keep away from us in our masjids. Reported by Bukhari and Muslim. The narration in Muslim is, he who has eaten onion or garlic or leek should not approach our masjid, because the angels are also offended by the strong smells that offend the children of Adam. People of knowledge advise that if bad breath persists, perhaps there's a deeper problem behind it. And also, if we're allowed to eat onion, fresh onion, and fresh garlic, and fresh leeks, we are allowed to do this. It's something legal to eat, but we should not come to the masjid with that on our breath and on our clothing. So how much worse is it when someone smokes cigarettes and then decides they're going to come to the masjid with the smell of cigarette smoke? And smoking cigarettes is forbidden in Islam because it carries deadly harm, and we don't harm ourselves or others on purpose. La darar wa la dirar. There's no harm or reciprocation of harm. We don't take our own hand and harm ourselves. So first of all, the act of smoking cigarettes is forbidden in the religion of Islam. So how much worse is it for someone to smoke cigarettes and then not clean himself off? First, don't smoke. But if a person has that addiction and they come to the masjid smelling like cigarette smoke, or thinking that he could walk around outside near the masjid and the smoke will dissipate and nobody will smell it, that isn't true. It's a very bad thing to smoke cigarettes and then come into the masjid with the smell of a smoke on your breath and your bodies with the intention to get near to Allah Azza wa Jal. Also, sisters, when you cook, strong onion smells and the smell of some of the spices, they stay in the clothing. They stay in your clothes, much of them. So you have to be careful, particularly during Ramadan. If you've been cooking, you want to take those clothes that you've been cooking, you want to change those clothes and then come to the masjid. Because sometimes, in some places, that smell carries, and it can be smelled by others. As the Messenger of Allah said, the angels are harmed by the things, they are offended by the same smells that Bani Adam is offended by. People of Islamic knowledge advise that if bad breath persists, now say you're using miswak and you have a persistent bad breath, they say if bad breath persists, perhaps there's a deeper problem behind the breath. There are a number of illnesses that include bad breath among its symptoms. And so if we have persistent bad breath, perhaps we need to go and have ourselves looked at. Persistent bad breath or a bad taste in the mouth may be a warning sign of gum disease, periodontal disease. Gum disease is caused by the buildup of plaque on the teeth. Bacteria cause the formation of toxin to form, even irritate the gums. If gum disease continues untreated, it can damage the gums and the jawbone. The bone can be damaged by it. The medical condition known as dry mouth also can cause bad breath. Saliva or spit is necessary to moisten the mouth, neutralize acids produced by plaque, and wash away dead cells that accumulate on the tongue, the gums, and the cheeks. If not removed, these cells decompose and can cause bad breath. Dry mouth may be a side effect of various medications. The salivary glands, they cause problems. Or continuous breathing through the mouth instead of breathing through the nose can make for bad breath and sinus problems. Many other diseases and illnesses may cause bad breath. Here are some to be aware of. Respiratory tract infections, such as pneumonia or bronchitis, chronic sinus infections, postnasal drip, diabetes, chronic acid reflux, and liver and kidney problems. So dear viewers, as you can see, not only is keeping the mouth and breath fresh an important aspect of Islam, it is also an indication of good health. More about this in our next episode, inshallah. I'm Talib Abdullah for the Sharjah Broadcast Authority. Thank you for the privilege of your time. Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.